Once upon a time, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez were the couple everyone rooted for. The kind of love story that looked too perfect to fail. From award shows to matching outfits and secret vacations, they had the whole world believing in their fairy tale. But fast forward to today, Justin's married to Hailey Bieber, the girl who allegedly used to stalk him and Selena and somehow dug her way right into his life, while Selena just got her happily ever after with Benny Blanco. And now, the two don't even speak to each other anymore. Wild, right? But in order to understand how we got here, how Hollywood's most talked about love story turned into silence and separate lives, we've got to rewind all the way to the very beginning. So grab your tea because we're diving into the highs, the heartbreaks, and every messy detail that led to the end of Jelena. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your notification bell, because you're not ready for this level of tea. All right, let's get into it. Remember, before all the chaos, drama, and heartbreak, this story began with 3 kids chasing their dreams. Selena Marie Gomez, born in Texas in 1992, came from humble beginnings. Her mom had her at just 16, struggling to make ends meet. But that little girl with a big smile would soon light up millions of TV screens, from Barney and Friends to becoming the clever and mischievous Alex Russo on Wizards of Waverly Place. Selena went from Disney's sweetheart to full-blown star. And like most Disney stars, she wasn't just acting, she was singing too. From her band Selena Gomez and the Scene to movies like Another Cinderella Story and Spring Breakers, she was building an empire before most people even finished high school. Meanwhile, Hailey Rhode Baldwin, born in Arizona in 1996, came from a famous Hollywood family. Her dad, Stephen Baldwin, her uncles, Alec, Daniel, and William Baldwin. But Hailey didn't want to just be a Baldwin. She wanted to dance. She trained to be a professional ballerina until an injury ended that dream. So she turned to modeling instead, landing magazine covers, walking runways for Dolce & Gabbana, and posing for brands like Ralph Lauren. But of course, most people would later know her as Justin Bieber's wife. And speaking of Justin, born in 1994 in Canada, raised by a single mom, Justin Drew Bieber went from YouTube covers in his bedroom to global superstardom almost overnight. Discovered by Scooter Braun, mentored by Usher, and launched with hits like Baby and One Less Lonely Girl, Justin quickly became every teenager's crush. But fame came fast, too fast. Behind the sweet smile and swoopy hair was a kid thrown into a whirlwind he wasn't ready for. And over the years, that innocence we saw in the baby days slowly faded. Now, before anyone points fingers, let's get one thing clear. Yes, Hailey plays her part, but Justin, he's responsible for his own chaos, every single move he made, and we're about to unpack all of it, because before Hailey, before the marriage, the breakdowns, and the memes, there was Selena Gomez. And that's where it all started, when 2 rising stars with teenage crushes crossed paths, and the world would never stop talking about them again. All right, let's rewind to the late 2000s, when flip phones were still a thing. Justin Bieber's Baby was taking over the world, and Selena Gomez was the Disney girl everyone adored. When Justin and Selena first met, it wasn't some grand Hollywood romance right away. Back then, Selena would say things like, "He's like my little brother. I'd feel like a cougar if I dated him." And to be fair, at that time, she kind of had a point. Justin still had that baby face, and Selena was already stepping into young adulthood. It wasn't a huge age gap, just 2 years, but when you're teenagers, that small difference can feel like a world apart. But chemistry? Oh, it was there. You could see it in interviews, the way they talked about each other, that innocent, flirty energy that had the internet going crazy. Everyone could tell that something was coming, even if they didn't know it yet. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The same year Justin met Selena, he also met Hailey Baldwin. Yep, the girl who would one day become Mrs. Bieber entered the picture way back then, thanks to her dad, Stephen Baldwin. He was apparently a big believer himself, introducing his daughter to the young pop star backstage at an event. And let's just say Hailey looked starstruck. There's even a clip. She's all shy smiles and nervous energy, like she just met the biggest celebrity on the planet. Meanwhile, Justin and Selena's connection started heating up. They went public not long after, and Justin was doing grand romantic gestures that had every teenage girl on Twitter losing their minds, like when he rented out the entire Staples Center just to watch Titanic with Selena. Yeah, he wasn't playing small. And guess who was watching all of this unfold from the sidelines? Hailey Baldwin, who at the time was a massive Jelena fan, like full-on Team Jelena Twitter fangirl. She tweeted things like, "Selena Gomez is so cute, don't argue," and "Justin and Selena are the definition of a teenage dream." She even wished Selena a happy birthday publicly and called her beyond flawless. Now, to be fair, Hailey was like 14 back then, a teenager, crushing on Justin Bieber and fangirling over Selena Gomez, totally normal. But what made it a little eerie looking back now is how her life eventually merged with theirs. Because behind those fangirl tweets, some DMs later surfaced from old friends saying Hailey was already trying to figure out where Justin and other celebs like Shawn Mendes were hanging out, which, yeah, is kind of wild. But all of this, it was just the beginning. Justin and Selena were about to go from adorable teenage crushes to one of Hollywood's most dramatic, toxic, and unforgettable love stories ever. So now let's talk about the messy middle, where everything started spiraling out of control. At this point, Hailey wasn't just a casual fan anymore. She had graduated from Team Jelena tweets to actually showing up in the same places as Justin. I mean, there's literal proof. DMs from her teenage years where she was trying to find out which hotel Justin was staying at. And what's even wilder, she later went back and deleted those messages as if to erase the evidence. But of course, screenshots are forever. And this wasn't just about Justin. She was reportedly doing this with other celebs too. But let's be honest, the one she really had her eyes on was Justin Bieber. So when years later she claimed, "I didn't really know who he was," everyone was like, "Girl, be for real." Meanwhile, Justin and Selena's relationship had turned into the ultimate roller coaster. One minute they were posting the cutest couple selfies, the next, breakup rumors everywhere, cheating scandals, trust issues, jealousy, the works. And then came the Jenner drama. Remember Coachella? Selena went with Kylie and Kendall Jenner. Everything looked fine until she unfollowed them right after the festival. A few days later, Justin was spotted getting way too cozy with Kendall, who just so happened to be one of Hailey's closest friends. So now you've got Justin, Selena, Kendall, and Hailey all tangled up in one messy Hollywood web. And it didn't stop there. Every time Justin and Selena broke up, Hailey somehow slid right back into the picture. The pattern was too obvious. One moment Justin was posting with Hailey, the next he'd be back with Selena again. And when he wasn't with either of them, he was linked to Sofia Richie, who, surprise, surprise, was also friends with the Jenners and Hailey. At one point, it literally felt like everyone was just taking turns dating Justin Bieber. Selena tried to move on. She even dated The Weeknd for a while, and it looked like she'd finally found peace. But then, out of nowhere, she and Justin rekindled things again. And just when fans thought this time it might actually work out, it all fell apart. Rumor has it Justin wanted to marry Selena, but she wasn't ready. And honestly, who could blame her? After years of emotional whiplash, she probably needed to breathe. But instead of taking time to heal, Justin did something no one saw coming. 2 months after his final breakup with Selena, he got engaged to Hailey Baldwin. The internet was stunned. Even Justin's own mom seemed shocked. She literally removed, "Yes, I'm Justin's mom," from her Twitter bio right after the news broke. That's how messy it got. And while fans were trying to process this rebound of the century, Selena was just silent. Heartbroken probably, but classy. She didn't lash out. She didn't shade anyone. She just let the world talk. But for Hailey, the girl who once tweeted Team Jelena forever, to suddenly become Mrs. Bieber, yeah, it felt like a full-circle plot twist that no one was ready for. And that's when people started noticing the copying. The tattoos that looked suspiciously like Selena's, the outfits, the minimalist branding of her skincare line that looked way too similar to Rare Beauty. Even the same poses, same captions, same looks, and the internet noticed quickly. What made it even weirder was that Hailey wasn't just inspired by Selena. She was allegedly shading her too. One moment she'd post something eerily similar to Selena's style, and the next, she'd like or repost something that looked like a subtle dig. It was giving obsession meets competition. At this point, it was no longer just a love triangle. It was like a whole saga of imitation, heartbreak, and unfinished business. But the real twist, even after all the drama, Selena came out on top. And her story didn't end in heartbreak, because while Justin rushed into a rebound marriage, Selena found peace, growth, and eventually, real love.